What is going on, college basketball fans? Today we're looking at more of your guys' hot takes for this college basketball season. If you guys want your hot take in the next one, all you got to do is subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when I make a community post asking for them, and you guys can have yours in the next video. So, I'm ready to get it started. Let's go. All right, our first hot take's coming in here from Matthew, and he says Charleston will make a run to the Elite Eight. Now, I really like this hot take. Charleston has been one of the best mid-major teams all year long, only have one loss. They've been on a massive win streak, and I definitely think that they could get a win or two heading into March. Now, the Elite Eight, now that's where it kind of gets a little bit hot, but if I had to pick, out of a lot of Cinderella teams to make a run this year, Charleston would definitely be near the top of that list. So I really like this hot take. I'm not going to say it's going to happen for sure, but I could definitely see Charleston making a Cinderella type run. Our next one's coming in here from Kenneth, and he says Arkansas will still come in second or third in the SEC conference. Now, I'm actually going to have to disagree with this hot take. I do think it's possible Arkansas could get back up to third if they start playing super well, but I'm going to say they finished around fourth or maybe even fifth in the SEC. They're off to a 1-4 start in the conference. I think the clear top two are Alabama and Tennessee. I think that they're going to be the top two for the whole season. And if I had to predict a team that plays third right now, I'd actually go with the Auburn Tigers. So I do think it's possible Arkansas could go on a run and get on a little bit of a win streak here and get back up to the third spot. I do think that that is possible, but I'm going to have to disagree with this one. All right, our next one's coming in here from Gary Patterson, aka Gavin, and he says Bobby Hurley is doing a better job coaching than his brother, Dan Hurley, at UConn. So Bobby Hurley, the head coach of Arizona State, they're off to a pretty good start there in the Pac-12. And UConn, they've lost 3 road games now in the Big East. Is it a coaching problem? I'm not quite sure. I would still say Dan Hurley is doing a better job this season. No one really expected UConn to be, national championship contenders. And even though they've been losing on the road there in conference play, I still consider UConn national championship contenders. So I believe that Dan Hurley has done an excellent job with recruiting and developing these freshmen, because he's got freshmen Caravan Klingen that are really giving him some valuable minutes, and it does take some good coaching to develop that talent, and he's done a great job at it there. So I would still say Dan Hurley's doing a better job than Bobby, but Bobby doing pretty good there at Arizona State. They're looking like a tournament team. So both actually doing a really good job this year, but I still go Dan Hurley. Our next one is coming in here from Brady Holmes, and he says Kentucky will go on a 5-game winning streak. He's thinking that Kentucky's going to get their season turned around. They just got a big win last night over Georgia, and that's 2 wins in a row now for Tennessee. So for this hot take to come true, they'd have to win their next 3 because they're currently on a 2. And I'm going to have to disagree with this hot take, because their next 3 are against Texas A&M, who has been undefeated in the SEC. I do think that they can win that game at home, and then they have to go on the road at Vanderbilt, get that win. I think those 2 are definitely possible, although Texas A&M is not going to be easy. But then to get that 5th win in a row, they have to face Kansas in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. I don't think this Kentucky team is going to beat Kansas. I do think that they could play them somewhat close throughout, but I think Kansas has that one. I'm going to have to disagree. I don't think Kentucky is beating Kansas, so I don't think they're going to be able to go on a 5-game winning streak. Next one's coming in here from TPM, and he says Nevada will win the Mountain West this season. So I actually really like this hot take. Last night they just took an L to Boise State on the road, but Boise State is a very good team and a tough place to play on the road, so I don't fault them too much for that. It's going to be a tight race, and I think it's going to be a 3-headed race in the end between Boise State, San Diego State, and Nevada. I do think New Mexico is going to fall around down to 3rd or 4th place in the Mountain West by the end of the season, but New Mexico, they could win it as well. And Utah State is a very good team as well. Like, the Mountain West is stacked. So this is kind of a hot take because there's so many good teams in the Mountain West. It's hard to really tell who's going to win it. But I'm actually going to have to disagree at this point. I'm going to go with my prediction to win the Mountain West right now in Boise State. Boise State, I don't see them losing more than one home game the rest of the year. I think that atmosphere there has been really showing up, and they're there to support their basketball team. And if they can get some road wins, and San Diego State's shown that they can lose on the road, I think Boise State can win the Mountain West this year. So that's my prediction. We got one coming in here from QT, and he says UConn will rebound and win the Natty. And I actually think that this hot take, I might actually agree with this one. And you guys know that I am very high on this UConn team, even though they've been losing, like we talked about earlier with Dan Hurley, on the road in the Big East. They've shown that they can win and beat teams like Alabama on a neutral site court, and they have crazy depth and size, shooting, defense. Like, they have everything that you want in a national championship level team. They have stars that I believe are going to light it up during March Madness. I could see Jordan Hawkins having an insane run in March Madness shooting the ball. I could see Sanogo dominating games. I could see the freshman Donovan Clingan come in and dominate and help UConn get a win. Andre Jackson Jr. is a point forward and a huge part of this team. Like, they have hoopers on this UConn team. I definitely think that they are national championship contenders. So I'm going to actually not agree, because it's hard to say who's going to win the Natty at this point, especially since they've been losing. But I really like this hot take. All right, next one's coming in here from Anthony Productions. He says Juwan Howard gets fired. So I'm guessing he means by the end of the year, and I'm going to have to disagree with this hot take. I think even if Michigan ends up missing out on the tournament, I think they're still going to keep Juwan Howard there. I think it's going to take a couple of years of him, really not doing so great for him to get fired. They were a lower seed last year in the tournament, made it to the Sweet 16, still went on a little bit of a run there. I think Juwan Howard's there at Michigan still for a while, unless another bad season next season. All right, and our last hot take is coming in here from Alex, and basically he's saying Purdue is the best team in the country. Their only loss came by 1 point when Zach Edey was in foul trouble, and they should be tournament favorites as of now. And I'm going to have to disagree with that last part, which is the most important part, and that is that Purdue should be national championship favorites at this point. I do think that they are a really good team, and they have some really good shooting around Zach Edey there, so he can score in the post. But the problem I have with Purdue is that Purdue never seems to be able to get over the hump. They've had superstars on their team in the past. Just last year, they had Jaden Ivey, they had Travion Williams, they had Zach Edey on this team. They were unable to get over that hump and defeat a St. Peter's team that would have taken them to the Elite Eight to face an 8-seeded North Carolina team. Like, that Purdue team could have, they had national championship potential last season, and they were unable to get over the hump. And I worry that the shooting is going to be there around Zach Edey come tournament time with these freshman guards. They have 2 freshman guards, and that's usually not a recipe for a national championship team. I do think that they make a run. They get to at least the Sweet 16, probably the Elite 8, but I don't think that they win the national championship, so I'm going to have to disagree with this take. But that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new. We do a ton of college basketball content here on the channel. Power rankings every Monday, podcast every Thursday, just daily college basketball content, and turn on the notifications so then you guys know when I make the community post asking for the hot takes, so you guys can be in the next video. So that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching.